Well, that intro was just about perfect, and we missed that opportunity now. So, no, but it's good to be here, guys. I'm excited to be back in the casting chair, and also to be casting with Wookie here on an exciting match. We have Rough Riders today going against Witch Doctors, which are going to be a pretty intense match. Yeah, I would agree with you there. I would say that Rough Riders seem to have a little bit more of experience on their side of the team with, Control for Flirt Delete, Trade-In, Enigma. These are some more veteran players, Snooperfax, for example. But the problem with Witch Doctor is they can be very fast, they can be very aggressive, and they can get some very clever angles to help take out the opponent. So it's going to be interesting. Rough Riders, though, have been playing a little bit less than Witch Doctors. They've been trying to get in a lot more games, it looks like. So we'll see what happens, if experience can pay out or if Rough Riders will be able to take this. Okay. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Now, Rough Riders, it's interesting to see that. And you kind of wonder, like, do they want to just not ban anything in the sense of just wanting to get as much experience, wanting to even maybe play a little bit of a wild card where whatever you throw at us, we're ready for, and using that as maybe more of an intimidation side of things. But Witch Doctors on Subway, that's an interesting ban just because of how defensive that map can be. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, the biggest thing about this, especially on the Marsoc side, is basically playing a little bit of hide and go seek. You're trying to figure out and get those angles to where, as on Marsoc, you can take out those defensive players who are pretty heavily hunkered down without them being able to take you out. And some of those shots, especially towards the middle of the map, can be very difficult to try to take people out on. Yeah, they have been, and it's really cool to see, especially, pretty much a team of all brand new players being able to enter the league. I mean, they used the season to really develop themselves and find their own kind of strategy and get used to the meta that's out there. And now they are coming in guns a-blazing, and they are really starting to make a name for themselves. And I mean, this win right here will really start to move them up. I mean, right now they are ranked 11th, and a win right now would put them into the top 10, which would be a very big accomplishment, even though it is a little bit early into the season. Yeah, I mean, mhm. Yep. I mean, once 1.8 comes out, we're not gonna have the same game ever again. And I mean, it's gonna be exciting to see the changes. We've had some good site reps that have gone in and given us a good idea of what is to come, especially some new objectives that are going to be a very fun part of the game, giving some old maps some new revamps, and I'm excited. I'm excited, and we have 3 weeks of basically off season to help prepare and work out the kinks of this patch as well, to prepare for the new season ahead. Mhm. Yep, and it looks like we're right in it, and we are getting started for round one of Downfall. And with that, I you did make an interesting point because I do think Onward especially is a mental game. If you guys shut down mentally as a team, you basically can defeat yourselves. You'll start making small mistakes, missing some shots, and getting into some interesting positions that would ultimately get you killed. And so, but yeah, I do agree. This is a mental game as well as a skill-based game.
Well, it looks like my mic was not working until now. So, I had the best intro. But hey, at least you guys could hear Silent Night. We talked about so many amazing things, but it is what it is. So let's go ahead and dive in here to round one.
Yeah, and looks like witch doctors are tucked in tight. Just going to be playing the waiting game, waiting for people to come into their angles, and they are not going to move or peek until their positions are possibly given away. So it'll be interesting to see how Rough Riders respond to that.
I mean, right off the bat, I see a pretty good defensive lineup, and Rough Riders have a nice line of scrimmage going in from the east. So far they have a good approach. Let's see how this plays out in the next minute or so.
Yeah, well, they are playing it smart. They have one mid, 2 towards the north and 2 towards the south, including one all the way over on the edge of the mountain, just basically going prone to make his way safely around. It is such a hard angle to see in a VR headset, so that'll be an interesting angle and approach to make. But with surrounding the objective, they are getting ready for what looks to be a good push.
Blaze it so we can start moving.
Looks like Witch Doctor's just staying tucked, trying to not get exposed and picked off, which is really how you win downfall rounds. You try to pick off the defenders from a distance, which is, not always easy because those windows are notoriously dark at some, in some of those windows. So defenders kind of have a bit of an advantage there because they are dressed in all black on a desert map of all things, but it's great for windows.
It is. And there's not a lot of lighting to really make those dark rooms go out. And one thing that's really interesting is Tiagra is using a shield on the edge of a mountain. So just really moving around and trying to get some callouts for the rest of your team while some smokes are going out in the middle of the map. So interesting to see how that'll play out. And I wonder if they are going to get any callouts in that regard.
Yeah, it's a kind of an odd spot to smoke, right? Out there in the South Bungalow like that. I'm not quite sure. Maybe Hold My Fries thought he got spotted and maybe he felt like he needed to do that to get into that position or something. I'm not quite sure, but
yeah,
if anything, it's a distraction.
It's true. It's a distraction, but at the same time, in order to get into where Hold My Fries is at, mid-hotel, has a direct view on it, but as well as people on the sides are trying to move in. And so, yeah, I believe that smoke could also be a distraction, getting the enemy team to look towards that direction while everyone else kind of moves in towards the objective. So we'll see what happens. But right now they are playing it pretty slow. We are 3.5 minutes in, and we are still fairly far from the objective. They are playing extremely careful. And we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Rough Riders falling into that vicious pit of trying to get some picks early on, and you kind of run the clock down, and now before we know it, we have 2 minutes left on the clock. Traden's pushing up on the helicopter 2-story. With only 2 minutes left on the clock, this is going to be a really dicey offensive push by Rough Riders.
Yeah, and you got to be very careful right here to not push slow enough. Oh, whoop, but Traden's moving in, and he gets taken out by Devil Sam. And what I'm saying here is you got to be very careful to not move in too fast to where you run out of time and end up having to everyone rush the objective and just get picked off one by one.
And I think Rough Riders are going to find themselves into this predicament here. I mean, I see a lot, I don't know, cover fire, suppressing fire, but nothing's happening. There's nothing to move up on with the suppression by Rough Riders. So I am actually kind of getting worried here. They do seem to be running out this clock. We still have someone up at North Hotel, which is barely just 60 seconds left to make it to the objective, and all 5 members of Witch Doctor still up.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing to do cover fire, and they're doing that right, but at the same time, you need to have someone moving. If you are cover firing a known position, you're trying to get your other teammates to move up, and in this case, we had 2-3 people who were cover firing, but no one was moving up. And so right now, they are in trouble. 45 seconds left, and they still basically have a mountain to climb as Seaquick takes out Soju, and don't have really much to show for it. So now they're all running towards the objective.
Oh, there he's just getting picked off, running up, panicking. They're about to hear that 30-second warning in their helmets.
Yep, and just everyone out in the open. Fume taking out Tiagra, and there is one left and taken out, giving the first round to Witch Doctors. A very strong defense right there, but a lot of that I do think was Rough Riders on the offense as well.
Appears we do have a drop on the side of Witch Doctors, so I wonder what's going to go there. I wonder what's happening there. Sorry, words are hard on a Friday. It's kind of unusual, right? I mean, I could have sworn I saw all 5 members up. I'm not sure what happened there at the very end.
Yeah, I mean, it might have been a mic going out. It might have been something like that. So once they did die, or, you know, the round ended, they just quickly dropped out to reset. But we'll see what happens. It's just one of those waiting games at this point.
Yeah, I think in this situation, though, like we were saying, you know, you can't run the clock down that much on downfall. It's just too large of an open map to you have too much to cover in terms of approaching the objective. And if you run the clock out, you start to make mistakes. I mean, Witch Doctor's not losing a single member. That's a solid defense right there. And I think they capitalized on the fact that Rough Riders hesitated so long to do a push.
They did hesitate, and unfortunately, they didn't have much to show for it. And it came down to, hey, we have a minute left. What do we do from here? And it came down to just running out in the open, trying to get closer to objective. And unfortunately, like we saw, it was just a pick off one at a time. I mean, Seaquick right there, getting 3 kills from his position, and something like that, you just can't get away with. And in this case, Rough Riders didn't.
Yeah, you hate to see it, chat. You know what else you hate to see? Can I just level with you really quickly, chat? I spent about an hour putting on my makeup, getting ready for my close-up for my video feed, and then I learned that Silent doesn't even have a video. And then I learned, because we don't have a video, that we have to do pictures, that Silent doesn't even have a photo.
I know. Yep.
I just want chat to haze Silent Night for his first cast without a photo. Everyone
Yep. I mean, I wanted to follow off of Lonely Viper's incentive in that regard, but yeah, I'm working on it. We're getting a photo right now. A few cameras have been broken in the process, but we think we got one that'll get a good picture for me. I'm
just kidding. I'm glad to have you here behind the desk with me today, Silent. It's good to see you back here. I mean, I was not around when you first started casting, so apologies that I don't know how acclimated you are with everything, but I'm glad to have you back, man.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back too, and it's good. I mean, I left basically right after Sleepy was trained up and getting into the game of casting himself. I believe it was just after OC5 that I ended up leaving, to give you guys retrospect on when. But so it has been a while, but my work schedule is good, and so I am back and ready to cast, and it looks like these guys are back and ready to play. So here we go.
Round 2 is underway here. Rough Riders assuming the the defensive positions of this helicopter objective. I do so far like this approach that Rough Riders are taking to the defense here. They have a very spread out setup, lots of coverage, all kind of looking in towards objective. Meanwhile, Witch Doctors have a bit of work cut out for them. I do have a UI bug where we only see 4 of the 5 members, but, you know, what can you do, chat?
It's true, but right now this is a big round for Rough Riders. This is sometimes a little bit more of a defense map, and so Rough Riders really want to try to make this a 1-1. I mean, Witch Doctors, of course, are going to try to capitalize on this, and it looks like they are moving about as slow as Rough Riders did in the first round. But we'll see what their time management can do and if they are going to be able to capitalize on this push better than Rough Riders did in the past. So, but yeah, again, like you said, their defense is spot on, and as long as they don't do some unnecessary peaks, they should be able to hold it strong and tie it up 1-1.
Have a very similar line of scrimmage here for Witch Doctors on this approach that the Rough Riders took. Hopefully it fares better for them than it did the Rough Riders. I have a feeling that this defense is going to be super tight, so assuming Rough Riders are good about peeking and staying tucked, they'll give the Witch Doctors a fight.
And yeah, I think it's very interesting how they are almost doing the same exact kind of push. They're pushing 2 to the north, 1 mid, and 2 to the south, and so it's going to be very interesting to see what specifically Witch Doctors do differently, and that's one of the fun parts of being able to see these kinds of casted games, because you can compare strategies and you can see what they did different and what worked and what didn't, and you can apply that to your own gameplay as well.
If you go red, shot back right.
Yeah, all I'm saying is if I got shit.
So C Quick right now checking mid hotel, trying to see if he can possibly spot one. No one's there, but he's just trying to get that peek, giving his team any other information that he can possibly find. C Quick's position in mid is a little difficult sometimes to spot out, so we'll see what can happen as the rest of his team are now pushing up almost a minute faster than what Rough Riders did last round.
Yeah, I think 3 minutes is kind of that sweet spot right on downfall. You want to try and get into position within the 3-minute mark on most maps that are large, like Quarantine, Downfall, all those good ones.
Yeah, exactly. Unless you're beginners, then you wait till the last minute. But, I mean, they do it well, though. They make it work. So, but yeah, it looks like, 3 minutes is a pretty good mark on when you want to really start making your push and your presence known.
Smoke's coming out from C Quick here. Looks like he will be able to block some of Bungalow's vision. Tia having to deal with that smoke that he can't really, he has no way of handling it. It's outside the building. So
nope, not going to be able to get on that roof, but it shouldn't really do too much to affect the game. But C Quick is just walking up, getting taken out by Hold My Fries.
Second I looked away, he got taken out.
I mean, it is a risky push being right out in the open like that, unless you're maybe El Vegas and worming your way up. That's just a tough push.
So that's 2 dead.
And just like that, though, 2 Witch Doctors are taken out. Rough Riders are holding their defense strong, staying hidden and protected, keeping all 5 up.
Yeah, Bake is going to have himself a problem here with 2 MARSOC members approaching his behind. All he has to do is really watch those stairs, and he can hear everything being said right now. Poor Virus, though, he sounds like a robot with his that Rift-S microphone. I don't know why that happens, but Rip that's notorious for that. Trading in that dark room. And upper brothel is gonna, or sorry, north brothel is gonna find him.
Yep, and just like that, I mean, we're basically seeing a repeat of what round 1 was. Rough Riders also holding it very strong defensively. Virus trying to get some suppression out, almost pre-firing the position. He has a good idea of where they are at, but just isn't landing any shots, unfortunately.
Oh, if he just pre-fired one more time, he may have gotten him.
Well, and it looks like he has the ammo for it, but Hold My Fries takes him out, and just like that, there is one left. Bake confirming that shot.
Fume realizing he's all alone.
That's just
having some difficulty there.
That's not a position you want to be in, but yet that's one he finds himself in. And he's got just a lot of work to do for 45 seconds left and not very far away. And throwing that smoke is a little risky. That's almost giving away his position, or at least giving the enemy team a good idea of where he's at.
Yeah, it might be a good tactic on Suburbia or Cargo, but not on Downfall, where you're basically caught out in the open. I mean, look how isolated Fume is. You could see all the lasers scanning the terrain for that guy. I mean, they are on high alert now that the smokes have been thrown. I'll try and follow along with Fume, but he's already been caught by the guy in Darkroom there and lower dumpster.
Yeah.
Oh, and so many people see him right now that he will go down the Bake.
Yep, and just like that, it looks like defense is holding out so far, as we are now tied up 1-1. A strong defensive round by Rough Riders, also not losing a single person.
I mean, it's impressive that how strong of a defense Volk has, predominantly on Downfall. I mean, that Volk advantage on Downfall is huge, and I don't think we should ignore it.
Oh yeah, definitely not. But the tough part is too, is knowing where the shots are coming from. If you happen to lose someone on Marsok's side, you need to be able to mostly accurately be able to call out where those shots were coming from so that you can get that refrag. And it just looks like a lot of the time that just wasn't happening. And that was making it a very uphill battle for anyone who wanted to try to take this objective.
Completely agree. Now that the objective is changing, however, I wonder just how this approach by Rough Riders will differ here on map 1. I mean, so far, I have a feeling it's going to be a close one. I can't shake it, but Downfall might end in a 3-4 series, or not series, but map 1 decider.
It might, and it might just come down to it. And even though this objective is only moving about 50 yards, it's making a completely different approach for this team. And there's a lot of windows that people can hide in, a lot of interesting angles that they can just hold. And again, it's going to come down to, is Marsok going to be able to discover where the Volk are hiding and be able to get some kills? Usually once 1 or 2 get taken out, you're able to start finding some holes, because Volk is not going to be moving around to adjust to where they are losing people. And so let's hope that they can just get a couple of kills.
We'll see how the Rough Riders split up here on round 3. Looks like 2 are going to head south, while the 3 others head to the north. We're seeing a really, really tight defense again from Witch Doctors, and you know, so far I can't say anything negative about it. I mean, it's worked out for them so far.
Yeah, I mean, what you're probably thinking about too is Rough Riders, the last round, were really waiting until the last minute to really start to make their push. So if you just really tighten the defense, you really only have to worry about peaking in that final minute, you know, because no one else is going to be really pressuring you beyond that. And so I think that's maybe what they might be waiting on.
Both teams playing it super quiet so far. Not a single shot ringing out, and it's already been over a minute. Wow, we already have a member of Rough Riders in that South Sniper building, so let's see if that actually pays out.
It might. If someone moves over the window all the way at the other end, he might be able to see that. Maybe mid-hotel if they decide to go on the roof. But again, this is kind of a tough angle to actually get a shot of. But if they can, it can be a very powerful presence to have on the field.
Yeah, the problem with that position over there in the south is that there's a lot of buildings in the way of where you want to aim and shoot people with. So he's gonna, I mean, it's a great setup for a west push without the defense really watching that sector of the map. But other than that, it's really hard to get picks, I think, from that location. Maybe I'll be proven wrong, however. Maybe they'll catch a rotation, but they already are down to less than 4 minutes here. And I fear we're going to have a repeat of a rundown of the clock.
Yeah, and it's been really interesting to see, too, because they're somewhat working together. They're somewhat sticking close to each other, but they're also very far apart to where if one happens to go down, trying to get that refrag might be difficult just because there's no one close enough to maybe have the same angle that, you know, Hold My Fries might have, for example, to get that kind of refrag.
Pre-fire coming out onto the ice cream truck. Oh, man, there's 2 Marsoc over there at the south tower. Kind of question the pre-fire just because if you are trying to do movements over there, it's going to be tricky now that they know where you're coming from, especially with someone exposed all the way out there. I mean, oh, he does have a shield. I missed that. So he is pulling what I like to call the man, I guess. He will he'll be out in the open and just giving call outs. I mean, that's a great use of the shield as a recon device, ironically enough, especially on a big map like Downfall.
Yeah, well, and it'll be interesting to see how the shield play changes, just because what the Onward devs have shown us is that they're trying to add shield damage to the shield itself, and so that'll be fun to see how that will change the game alone. But yeah, powerful tool.
Yeah, once that damage state comes to the shield, it'll be just a little bit more difficult, I imagine, to see through the glass. Just from what I've seen from the sit rep reports, we'll see how it actually translates into gameplay, however. And I mean, Tia is he's formerly Kiletto's, and he was their best shield player, I believe. I could be wrong about that, but he's a very good shield player, without a doubt, and I'm not surprised at all to see Tia running around with the shield on Downfall.
Well, what you're trying to do, especially on the Marsoc side, is just painting a picture. You're trying to figure out where the enemy is, and then communicating that to the rest of your team so that they can try to get the angles and taking out, you know, the enemy players. Right now, mid-hotel is really one of the main blocking points of this Marsoc, and they only have 1 minute and 30 left, so this time management is really starting to become a factor again.
We're seeing that same issue. We still have somebody at North Hotel. Oh, Devil Sam finds Hold My Fries, who was covering Tia. Bake is kind of caught in the open. Wow, what a risky shot, and he does go down for it. Devil Sam takes him. Now it is 3v5 situation here for Rough Riders against Witch Doctors. Tia is still moving up, though. He's got that shield, and they haven't been able to shut him. Oh, I spoke too soon. Virus does find an angle on Tia, and he is now down for the count. He gets confirmed by Devil Sam.
Yeah, and you just got to be a little bit careful. It seems like they're just barely pushing out in the open enough to where they can get spotted from those angles and get taken out. Some smokes are coming out, but with only 40 seconds left, is it enough? I mean, they still have 5 up on Witch Doctor and a lot of road to cover. So, I mean, at this point, yep, another one down, and I'm going to give this round to Witch Doctors at this point.
Yeah, I mean, let's be realistic. The odds of Soju turning this around are pretty low, but... well,
even lower.
I should just stop talking, because as I go to say things, they change on me. It's funny because Control asked me not to make predictions, and I'm trying not to.
What you need to do then, I guess, is say the exact opposite of what you're about to say.
Right.
And then that would equalize on what you're doing. And looks like Witch Doctors have another one that just dropped out again. So we'll see what happens there.
Oh, boy. Hopefully we aren't plagued by this issue throughout the game, because that could really affect momentum for these teams to have a player constantly dropping in and out like this.
Yeah, and it's interesting though because it is on Witch Doctor's side, and so you do want to be careful about that. You don't want to have Rough Riders starting to call you and pressure you on that because that is a possibility. But let's just hope that they're able to get someone in. It's just a quick fix, and we'll see what happens.
Well, but, I mean, you know, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but I am just shocked because this is Rough Riders' map pick, and they, you know, I don't mean to be critical, but they seem to be coming to this map with no real game plan. Usually for map 1, that's the most dialed in map for your team, and Rough Riders just seem to be having a rough time getting a battle plan executed properly.
Yeah, well, I really think the biggest weakness right now of the Rough Riders push is that they are not managing their time well enough, and they sometimes get into too out in the open positions. I mean, we've seen multiple times on their offensive pushes, it's just been out in the open, and they've been taken out, and then it's just a downhill spiral. 1 or 2 get taken out, and then the round just starts falling apart. I really just think they need to stay closer to the cover, crouch down a little bit more, and maybe move in just a little bit faster and see what they can do in that case.
Well, we are just now waiting for this drop to return. I'm tempted to cut to intermission, but you know, as soon as I say things, they happen, right? So hopefully by saying that, putting that into the universe, that person will come back and I don't have to cut to intermission.
Yeah. So it's been a pretty heavy Volk side though. I mean, have we had anyone die on the Volk side yet? I don't think we have.
Yeah, we have not.
We haven't had a single person die on Volk yet.
Which is just crazy to me that,
yeah.
I mean, I mentioned how powerful Volk defense is on downfall, but I mean, this seems a little ridiculous.
Yeah, and at this point, it almost is like, do we need to really start to question how the offense is going in this case? Is the offense just making it a little bit too easy in this case? Or do they need to be a little bit more cautious on how they approach?
Well, we do have that 5th member back on Witch Doctor's side of things. So hopefully this round 4 will begin shortly, folks. Sorry about the wait. We can only do so much, you know? Technology. It's cutting edge stuff, this VR tech, let me tell you.
Oh, it's a lot better than it was back in the 90s, that's for sure. They tried it, did not work. But it's exciting to see where it's gone, and it's grown immensely in the past couple of years, and I'm excited to see where it goes. It just changes gaming forever. That's for sure.
It sure does. Pancake games will never be the same once you try this headset. Once you try any headset, it's phenomenal. And I'm really excited to see Onward coming into Quest next week. That is going to exponentially grow the player base. So that'll be a lot of fun when that goes live.
Yeah, I completely agree. And it's just insane to see, especially when VR first came out, everyone was worried about motion sickness. And now a lot of the games are motion heavy. And especially one like Onward, Onward's what made me buy VR. I saw a first person shooter and I'm like, I need that. I need that multiplayer first person experience.
Yeah, my brother had a VR headset and I tried it before they had full hand motion controls and everything like that. It was just, you know, a Rift and a Xbox controller. I couldn't do it. But then they brought in the touch controllers and that 6 degrees of freedom and tracking and everything really changes everything. Like being able to see your hands in the VR world, I think got rid of most of the motion sickness issues I was ever having. If not
and
all.
Frame rate went up a lot too.
That
helps.
too. Yeah, the frame rate for sure. You know, have a 60 hertz refresh rate. But yeah, so VR's come a long way, and if you're just tuning in, and you don't own a VR headset, but you stumbled across this, let me tell you, this will change games for you forever, especially shooters. Like this is essentially virtual paintball. If you are crouched in your play space, you're crouched in the game. You know, everything that you do in the real world is translated to the game environment, and it is just such a blast to play. So, you know, I used to do a lot of paintballing and airsofting back in the day, and I can't really do that anymore just because I can't be bothered to buy the paintballs and go out to the field and just do that. I just don't have the time anymore. But picking up a headset, putting that on really quickly, and playing Onward completely satisfies that desire for some paintballing and airosofting. So that's why I got hooked into this.
Yeah. Well, and on top of that, our community is unique. It really is. We are all friends. When we see each other, we're just like, hey, how's it going? I mean, it's like I have friends that I can hang out with while still maintaining a good social distance. So, and these are some of the best friends that I have had, even outside of my team on Blaze. I have some of the best friends I've had on and ever, really.
Yeah, and shout out to the community and big shout out to the chat. You all are looking cute today. Hope you're all doing good on this Friday night. I'm really looking forward to the weekend, man. It's been a long week. I don't know about you guys, but this weekend is going to be awesome. We have some great matchups for you guys coming up. After this game is Pandemonium versus Riot. So tune into that. That's at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. And then Saturday and Sunday are full of action-packed games as well. So don't forget to come back this weekend. Give the channel a follow. Click that notification bell so you at least get a notification to let you know that, hey, a match is about to start. And, you know, visit the Discord. There's an Onward official Discord. If you haven't joined it, please do. You can introduce yourself to this fantastic community that Silent just mentioned, and it really is a great community.
Yeah, it really is. And going back to the game, it looks like, yeah, Rough Riders again are putting it very tight, but it looks like they were more so having a specific objective in mind, or spawn for the Marsoc in mind. Because right now, yeah, they have taken mid hotel with no opposition.
I can't believe it, but I did not hear the countdown beeps.
Oh,
I thought this entire time, because not a single shot has rang out for 3 minutes, I thought we were still in
No, it was going the whole time.
Well, folks, you missed nothing, because not even a single shot has been fired yet, and it's just about 2 minutes remaining in round 4. Look, top-notch casting coming out from Wookie here.
But yeah, no worries. But so, I mean, right now, though, they are in a very dangerous position. Nardu especially. Smokes are coming out. He almost can sneak in underground of that objective building and cap if he's quiet enough. It just doesn't look like they have a lot of opposition. But See Quick is taken out by Bake. Is it going to be enough, though? And that smoke cover might be enough for Soju not to hear the approach of Nardu. This could be a cap.
Oh, yeah. He's going in. Soju is not even aware the smoke is perfectly covering it, and he's capping. This is map 1. Go to Witch Doctors. Incredible cap. Just insane dominance on this map. My God. A round 4 victory on Downfall is insane.
That really is, and especially for it to be a cap. And the biggest thing was there was just no opposition from that south push. They had no one in hotel. They had no one in the building near objective even looking down that way. They were able to walk through that entire south portion without any opposition. And then See Quick threw the smokes out, and it was enough for Nardu to run in and get that cap.
It's very interesting. I'm reading the chat, and Control is informing me that Rough Riders chose Downfall first because it's their worst map and they wanted to get it out of the way. So interesting method there. Definitely a tactic I've never seen used before, but I'm just one person. What do I know?
Well, I mean, I think it is smart because a lot of the times if you're playing and with how big this community is getting and how many teams there are, the odds of you qualifying outside of wildcard participation is pretty slim. So if you can go in with your matches and play your worst maps, get that experience you need, sure, you might take a couple of losses, but you can work on your maps, and then when wildcard comes, you look a lot better and you're a lot more stronger for the tournament that actually matters.
Now, I think it's worth mentioning that the map pick from Witch Doctors is going to be Bazaar. So if Rough Riders don't get it together on map 2, this will be a very quick series. That was one of the fastest downfalls I've seen in them so far this season.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, the first 3 rounds went to time, and then that cap, though, about 2 minutes and 30 seconds in, managing to get that cap and ending the map. So all in all, probably about, 25 minutes in total, which is pretty fast for downfall considering.
And not a single Volk member in all of map 1 ever died, as far as I saw.
Yeah, you're correct. That's true.
Not ever in VRML history have I ever seen that. Not a single member of Volk going down in 4 rounds. I mean, Soju did die at the very end after the round ended because the uplink was sent, but that doesn't count in my opinion.
Nah, round's over. It might count on the scoreboard, but I don't think that counts.
Yeah, I mean, anything that happens post scoreboard doesn't matter, because like James Boak on Mayhem, he records all the stats, and even there we don't, like, we will actually change stats after. If someone gets a kill after the scoreboard comes up, it's sorry, no kill for you. Well,
especially after a cap, just because everyone usually runs out in the open and celebrates. Yeah. They don't even have the gun pointed at you, and you're just like, I'm mad that you capped. I'm going to shoot you.
Yeah, exactly.
But going into this, though, Rough Riders has a lot to prove here. Going into Bazaar, and it looks like this first objective is going to be a tight one to defend. But right now, Rough Riders has a 50% win ratio this season. They've played it twice and they've won once. A total of 4 rounds out of 9 they have won. So it'll be interesting to see what they are able to do against Witch Doctors, who have played this a lot more and still have about the same win ratio.
Well, with that, I did hear the beeps this time, and we will be diving into here on map 2, round 1.
Yep, and with that, it does look like they have a good spawn. And again, this really comes down to what defensive positions are you going to be getting in and watching for, because you can do some really interesting plays with how many different buildings and locations that you can hide in.
Bazaar is one of my favorite maps, and it's the south objective, which is actually my favorite objective on this map. So Witch Doctor is opting to primarily push east with 3 members. Oh, and immediately Tia gets taken out. Sorry, Nardu gets taken out by Tia over there in the blue room. He's got a nice angle. And Nardu just wasn't ready for it. He does get the confirm. Tia with his infamous FAMAS loadout. I absolutely hate the FAMAS, personal opinion, but drives me nuts.
Worked out.
Worked out well for Tia. He's the only guy in the league I know who runs a FAMAS.
Yeah, but I mean, and that was kind of a scary peek too. I mean, wide out in the open, you're in the blue room, no cover, but you still were able to get that angle, that shot, and get the down and confirm. So good job on that part. And now they are up 5 against 4, which is a good lead to have. Now over by the tank, though, it looks like Soju might be in a little bit of trouble, having 2 or 3 that are around him. So he's going to have to play this a little careful.
Yeah, Soju somehow missed 3 members crossing east, so that's a big mistake by Soju. You don't want to miss people crossing on the east, let alone 3. So the fact that he doesn't realize 3 members are near him is definitely going to be a problem. If anything, Soju might get a trade here, or he might be able to pick off Devil Sam, but he will have 2 more members to deal with here.
Well, Devil Sam and Fume are pretty close together, so if Soju's able to play his cards right, he might be able to get 2 kills. If anything, at least 1. Soju's moving in and going to be trying to get the shot. He gets Fume. Is he going to be able to get Devil, though?
I don't think Soju even knows about Devil. They've been very good at remaining quiet.
Still, though, that was a really good kill and rotation by Soju, at least. He's not dead yet.
Yeah, he might actually catch Devil Sam off guard here.
Just playing a little ring around the rosy at this point.
Something that's
each other.
Yeah. Something that's very hard to explain to people who don't play in the league is just how much a league match will get your nerves pumping. And I think Devil Sam, is really, I'm sure his palms are getting sweaty because his teammate just died, and he knows that there's a defender running around. Oh, and Soju's about to find the backside of Virus. Try to make it a headshot, make it a clean, quick kill either way. Devil Sam now probably thinks that there's 2 people over here when really there's just one who is rotating quite a lot.
Yeah, and we got to be a little bit careful too, because over in the bazaar we have Quick, but Traden is getting pretty aggressive as well. Might be able to catch Quick out.
Oh, he messes up his M203. Oh, he didn't. Okay, it played it sound like he had collided with that shack that he was standing behind.
Yeah, but one of the smokes did manage to get onto the 3rd floor of objective building. Maybe not what you want.
Nice pick by Quick. Finds Tia in the blue room, so at least Quick can use that room. Oh, Devil Sam's already ran into blue room. Traden is gonna shoot at Quick. Doesn't find the kill. This is getting pretty dicey. Devil Sam over here next to objective.
Yep, but even with 2 left, Witch Doctors are in a good position right now. And they might be able to make this a difference. 1 or 2 picks. And there's another one.
Nice pick by Quick. Finds Traden. Devil Sam might finally find the head of... What's his name in front of him? Virus? Soju, sorry. Soju. Soju does find Quick, however. That's not good.
But Devil Sam is left with almost plenty of time. A lot of things that he can do here, and Soju is making a lot of noise, so he's just really wanting to get the confirm here, and he does. And so now it is a 1v2, but they know where he is, or at least have a good idea with where those shots rang out from.
You could hear Devil Sam. I'm riding along with him right now, and he just breathes a sigh of relief that he found Soju. He's been hunting him for 3 minutes, and he finally found him. Again, like, there's nothing more intense than competing in a league match in Onward. And if you own a headset, do yourself a favor, buy Onward and join the league, because there's nothing else like it. I mean, the adrenaline rush and everything is unmatched by anything, in my opinion, that you can do in video gaming right now.
So Devil Sam is in a very unique position. He's going to be having to watch out for Bake, but he's in a good position. He might be able to pick off Hold My Fries. He found him, fired some shots, but not able to make them connect.
Just less than 50 seconds on the clock here. He's going to have his work cut out for him.
Well, and the tough part is he did give out his position, but he does get 1 kill. He has 1 left to get, but he probably doesn't know that. Oh, but he heard him.
This is such an intense firefight between these 2 players.
Oh! And almost getting that clutch right there. I mean, that was a 2v4, making it down to a 1v1 and barely not being able to confirm that, as Rough Riders make it to the end, managing to score a much-needed point right here and right now.
It was just 2 kills by Devil Sam, but it was 2 big kills at the end there. He almost got the 3rd, for what it's worth.
Yeah. And you almost get antsy, especially being when there's only 2 left on objective and it's coming down to the wire, of where you do want to kind of rotate. You feel that angst. You want to rotate around objective just to make sure there are no angles that you can get capped on. But that also gets you out of position and possibly taken out. And so...
Absolutely.
There is some risk there, but it looks like the reward was Rough Riders gets the point.
Soju with 3 kills. He did work on round 1.
He really did, especially when we saw 3 of them literally surrounding him. He handled it really well. His rotations were well timed. He was able to piece together where people were at and capitalize on some very strong kills. So I think he single-handedly really made that first point possible.
Couldn't agree more. Now it's Rough Riders' turn to ride the Marsoc train into this south objective. Will they opt to push to the east or to the west, do you think?
Oh, gosh, yeah. That's the toughest part, because I really do think the tank side push is a little bit safer. You have some more cover that you can use. And so I would see probably at least 3 going over on tank side. The nice part about this, though, is when you are attacking, there's probably about 2 positions that you can guarantee. You know that there's going to be 1 in objective room, and odds are there's going to be 1 in the blue room next to objective. And so already you kind of have a good idea of what you need to do to attack.
Well, Rough Riders are lucky to have that east spawn, because I think the east spawn is actually the best spawn on this objective. It just depends on how well they capitalize on it more than anything.
And that's what it comes down to, especially on giving out where your spawn is. When you do, it allows for the team to really start to change their approach. One can cross the street, get a different angle. And so it's interesting. They all threw smokes, no fire really across the street, and 3 of them crossed just like that. But they have 2 in Bazaar that are going to be a huge threat as well.
Yeah, that was actually a very well executed cross that Witch Doctors were not ready for. And I know that they radioed it. And oh, Seaquick almost had a good angle on them. Almost found the backside of Hold My Fries. Frag comes out, I believe. Oh, it would have been good, but Seaquick already backed inside the building. So that building completely protected him from that frag.
Yeah, and this is a dangerous position, but we did see last round someone held it incredibly well. And so is Seaquick going to be able to capitalize like they did last round?
Yeah, Soju managed to take out basically that entire eastern flank except for Devil Sam, which is no easy feat, being the one defender flanked far away from anyone else to support you. It's not easy.
Well, and what Soju did that was incredibly good too was that he even made Devil Sam change his approach. He took out 2 of the members, and he wasn't able to get the 3rd, but he was able to make Devil Sam take a completely different approach, and then in the end, even go back and try to find him.
The tight angle here that Fume was just looking through. Either way, this eastern flank is managing to slowly make its way in towards the objective. Hold My Fries does find a nice headshot on Devil Sam, who was in the south wall. And now the south wall is pretty much undefended.
Yep, but Tiagra right now is needing to be careful on their push. It's a shield play, but mainly you are going to be looking towards objective, which means Seaquick, if he does get the pick, might be able to get Traden and Tiagra.
Oh, I just missed it. I was trying to get there, but it was a trade between Traden and Seaquick. Thea doing his thing where he's got the shield and calls everything out.
Now, the nice part is Seaquick, though, will still be able to give call-outs, and he still can hear 2 people around him. He'll be able to at least call them out, hopefully.
I don't know. He does get confirmed by Bake. It does look like they're kind of... Rough Riders are opting to stick to this east push.
Yeah, I mean, Rough Riders, they're doing incredibly well so far on offense. If they're able to win this, I mean, this is going to be another victory that they need, especially to stay in this match. So far, they're doing everything that they need to go up 2-0. Hold My Fries is getting pretty close to objective. He's just got to be very careful. It looks like a lot of them on Witch Doctors are kind of moving around hastily, and Hold My Fries takes a couple of shots at Nardu, but not able to make them connect.
Game, stop putting me in buildings. There we go. Jump into people in first-person views, not that easy, apparently. But yes, most of the Rough Riders are sticking together here on this last push, I think, between 4 members up on the east, and then we have that 1 member still far north. Not sure what he's trying to do, but Tia will absorb all those bullets on the shield by Virus.
But you do have to be careful.
Yeah, you do have to be careful. Tia tries to throw a grenade and botches it. Oh, Virus botches his grenade too. Nardu does find the head of Hold My Fries as he comes around the corner. Bake finds Fume on objective.
And the tough part is they still have blue room to worry about, but Bake's running in and gets the trade, but that's making it a 2v1 with Virus still being able to make callouts as the man who is down but not out. Tiagra is going to be able to find the last person on objective, might be able to get a kill, but if anything, a good call out.
Nardu coming for the revive. He might get caught. He does by Soju. And Rough Riders will take round 2 on map 2.
I mean, again, very strong round. The shield play was actually really well. It caused for them to, first off, use their nade, devote a lot more attention to where the shield was in particular, and they were able to get some very good kills with that. So, I mean, Rough Riders so far looking very strong on Bazaar.
100%. Tia is playing a really great shield game. You know, usually you see something like the Man you know, what Kiju does, where, you know, you see a lot of like crazy pistol aiming over the shield and stuff like that. Tia doesn't even bother with that. He's more focused on just staying alive and relaying information and letting his teammates get those kills. And it's really working out really well. I mean, we got Bake with 4 kills and Soju with 4 kills. And they're carrying most of the kills here due to that great communication and good teamwork coming out of Tia.
Yeah, I mean, so far though, right now, we're gonna have to try to see on what Witch Doctors can do to really start to equalize the board, because right now you do not want to be in a 0-3 situation going against Rough Riders. They're starting to get some powerful momentum. They really, I mean, kills are saying a lot, and it'll be interesting to see what Witch Doctors can do on offense to be able to try to match back. This is already, too, a little bit more of a defensive objective, too.
Yeah, the two teams are taking their time here to jump into round 3. But as I say that, the countdown clock comes up. So let's go ahead and dive into round 3.
All right, and this is going to be a big one. So it'll be interesting to see. Witch Doctors do not have the quick spawn, but I mean, they still have a lot of chances to try to move around, and it looks like Fume now is bringing out the shield.
Hey, they're gonna beat us to Kiat, so we gotta take it slow.
This is my second favorite objective, just letting the audience know.
It's just such a fun one to attack, too. I love attacking this one. And it's one that on defense people can get incredibly aggressive on, and so it's hard to predict on the Marsoc side, are they going to be aggressive? Because there's some very strong defensive positions they can get to if they choose to run for it.
Interesting to see 2 members of Rough Riders in the Northeast. I have a feeling one of their members was AFK for a moment. Yeah, he's alive. I can see him moving around.
Careful, one can sneak up from the back.
But Witch Doctors playing very conservative here. They know that they're down 2 points. They cannot let their victory on downfall make them overconfident on map 2, because they're finding themselves down 2 points here, and the next round will be, you know, if they don't come back, Rough Riders will have 3 points, and if they cap, that'll be a 5-0 situation.
Yeah. That's true, but at the same time, if Witch Doctors can cap on this objective too, I mean, that's making it 2-2. So again, this is really a decisive round for the match right here and now, and so they're really keeping it pretty close-knit, though, on Witch Doctor's side. 3 of them with an earshot of each other as Fume gets shot on his shield.
I was riding along with Nardu. I just love watching these guys with the hand communication and everything. It just makes it really cool to ride along with them. Fume trying to gain some knowledge, figure out who shot at them, and figure out there's how many people are up there in the north.
And that's the tricky part, because they could be peeking the window. They could be peeking from the brick wall beside it. They could be peeking from, you know, White Car. It's tough to say sometimes, and it can change. And so Fume's just trying to give that information for the rest of his team, because right now, if that guy's not taken out, their entire northern push is taken out, and they have to go through buildings if they expect to make it there.
A good line being held by Soju. And Tia had an interesting position here. I like him prone in the corner. It's not something you see too often.
We J building in the indent.
Nardu, though, is he going to be able to get a shot on Soju?
Oh!
Yep, he is. Okay.
Beautiful shot by Nardu. Soju was peeking a little too far, I guess.
But Nardu's running in, making a lot of noise. This Hold My Fry is going to get that refrag.
Confirming it. Doesn't pay attention. Hold My Fries. Refrags Nardu. Seaquick ends up getting the kill on Hold My Fries while Virus distracted him. Devil Salmon Bake trade. I can't jump to them because there's no one alive. Quick does find the refrag on Tia with a nice headshot. And now it's just Trade in here left, and Virus takes him out. That's exactly the momentum we needed to see on round 3 by Witch Doctors.
Yeah, really good job. I mean, they just were able to push in, starting to get some kills near objective, and when that happens, that causes the people who are towards the outside to start rushing in, and you can start picking people off as they're trying to get back to defend objective, and that looks like almost exactly what happened here. Just, yeah, really good push by Witch Doctors.
That's what we needed to see. I mean, it's really hard if you lose your mental game to come back, and I don't want to say that, you know, that they've lost it at this point, but it, you know, it's psychologically a little, you know, overwhelming sometimes when you're down 2 unanswered points, and you know that if you don't get this round, it can easily go into a 3-0 situation that you just don't want to find yourself in as a Marsoc player.
Yeah, I completely agree. But now Rough Riders do need to respond to this. They still want to keep it going. They need to get to 3-1. They need to stay in this. And right now, so far they've done a really good job. They've managed to stay in it. And at this point now, they just need to get ahead. I mean, I would say almost getting a tie 2-2 at this point would be a little bit more detrimental to Rough Riders mentally than Witch Doctors being down 1-3.
Oh yeah, it's amazing how quickly that momentum and the morale can swing in your favor or against you, right? I mean, Rough Riders being up 2 points, if they lose the next 2 rounds, that can also mentally impact your game going into the round 5 or whatever have you.
Yeah, exactly. And so at the same point as, I mean, this objective and middle Marsoc, I would say, are the 2 that get probably capped on the most. And so you just need to be very careful to make sure, as Witch Doctors are defending, that they do not get capped on. So, and it does look like Rough Riders got the quick spawn, so it'll be interesting to see if they capitalize on that and rush towards objective.
Hold my fries. Watching the line at the tank, make sure nobody on the defender side crosses to that southeast region. Soju already finding some action in the east kiosk section of that building. So far, though, I feel like Rough Riders are going to have a bit of a rough time with this defense, because I think this is a pretty strong defense, especially with that defender pushed up in kiosk. That's going to slow down any push on the north while they try to figure out a way to deal with him.
It is, but you got to be very careful, and C-Quick needs to be quiet, because if he does move around too much, or if he clicks to check tablet, Soju will be able to call out to the rest of his team, hey, there's someone right around me. We need to be very careful about that. And he's playing it almost as though he already suspects that someone is there. And so he's peeking through the window just to make sure no one is on the other side, because it is possible. Now, one thing that was interesting, though, Tiagra did spot someone running into Kiat, though, on North Street, so it might have been giving that information to Soju for this moment.
I heard someone shoot. I think it was Soju, and I think he knows Quick is here. Oh, Quick deciding to fall back. Oh, he almost gets caught on that rotation by Soju, who was listening for that movement.
Too close, but now Hold My Fries and Soju are working together to push right up the center. And, I mean, right now we do also have 2 people who are working to come in from behind. And
Quick almost gets team killed. That was close. You don't want to see that on round 4. You hate to see it, chat. You don't want to see team kills here.
The nice part is I do think they are a lot more rare. People have gotten a lot better at not team killing anymore.
Well, clearly you don't have a Theta on your team. Or Kesney.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
I'm just kidding, Theta. Not kidding about Kesney, though.
Yeah. Well, we asked him, we're like, hey, we know you want to be on Blaze. Do you team kill, though? And he's like, I have a habit to. And we're like, oh, sorry. You're more ready for Mayhem then. Oh, man. Right now, those Shield pushing up the hallway or the alleyway, and Hold My Fries watching right behind. Tiagra is getting dangerously close to objective. But again, one frag can ruin all that.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing that they've managed to get this close, and no one seems to notice from Witch Doctors.
Yeah, it looks like Devil Sam might. He's got a prepared nade.
Oh, that grenade is going to do some damage.
5. Tiagra down and out, but the other one...
Where did the other one go? Oh, he already rotated around. He is quick. Traded and Virus do end up trading. Hold my fries with a really, really fast rotation, trying to find Devil Sam and drop some smokes. I don't know, we'll see if that will really help him or if it will be a detriment.
I mean, at the same time, he's not going to get shot right now going against Hold My Fries for the time being. That was funny, though. Hold My Fries saw that nade coming. He's like, nope, Tiagra, you're on your own. See ya.
Yeah. And then Tia panicked and dropped his shield, which was also equally bad.
Yeah. But you got to be really careful, though, especially with Devil Sam. If he cooked that nade even just like probably 2 seconds longer, he could have probably gotten both of them.
He absolutely, he could have, for sure.
But still confirming the shield, that is a huge play in and of its own, but he could have done a little bit more, and it's a tough situation to be in for sure.
It is. Shield is very hard to play with. I don't know how people do it. I hate the shield.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
Oh, hold on. Fries looking for that angle. Devil Sam never rotated or moved. Oh, he does find a nice shot on C-Quick, however.
And that was a neat kill. That's a 3v3 now.
Yeah, so Bake trying to get a kill on the East. Meanwhile, Hold My Fries and Devil having a little fun here. Soju finds Nardu. Hold My Fries does find Devil Sam. Witch Doctors are in quite the predicament now. They can easily get a cap if they're not careful.
It looks like Fume doesn't quite know that he's the last one. If Hold My Fries moves in, I mean, if they even do some cover fire for Fume. Nope, he's moving into objective.
Oh, but he might get taken out here. Oh, he finds Hold My Fries. Nice defensive posture from Fume.
And now there's a minute left, a 2v1 situation, and Fume is rotating around objective. He does not want to cap right now. And so he's almost playing it a little risky, but grabbing that shield, that's powerful.
That's
because
huge.
Now they have 40 seconds left, and he has a shield to cover any way that they come. And so he can play time.
He doesn't even need to die. He could just make him burn 30 seconds with a shield.
Exactly. And so, I mean, very smart play by Fume using that utility around him.
Uh-oh, he's pointing it the wrong direction, though.
Yep. Bake's just going to wave at him with a gun.
Interesting way of doing things here. He just needs to stay alive for 7 more seconds.
Oh no, he's turning his back. What? 3.
Oh, he won. He won. Wow, what a play. Rough Riders ran out of time.
That is almost too close for comfort. He had to have died right at the 0 mark.
You know, that's one of the things I noticed, that the clock is a little late by like 2 seconds ish. So it really came down to the last second there. Even though the clock might have said 1 second still or 2 seconds, the round seems to end like 2 seconds before the clock does. So good on him for playing it safe, really, and just he almost lost it when he turned his back for a second, but he did the right thing and just stayed alive.
Yeah, well, and he made like minor mistakes there, but it wasn't minor enough to get him killed, which was nice. And then when he finally spotted both of them, they hammered down on him, and he just tucked into a corner and played the waiting game, and it paid off for Witch Doctors. They are up 2-2. So, I mean, but right now on Rough Rider's side, I mean, we got Bake, 5 kills, Hold My Fries, 4 kills, and Soju, 6 kills. Really good job on just capitalizing and getting a lot of kills on this map so far.
Yeah, both teams playing extremely well here on map 2. Rough Riders, you know, had a bit of a rough start on map 1, but I feel like they're warmed up here and they're doing work. Even though they're down 2 unanswered points, I sense a comeback here. It's a new objective. So, you know, it could go either way. Which one is it, by the way? It's West objective. So this is a tough one to defend, in my opinion. So hopefully Rough Riders don't spread out their defense too much and get capped on here.
Well, yeah, and I agree. It can be a very tough one to defend on, but at the same time, there is open road that the Marsoc need to cross on. And so it's difficult to defend, but they also have a mountain that they need to overcome on their own, and that is to actually manage to cross the street safely. And, I mean, will they look both ways? Will they throw smokes? Who knows, but they need to make it across, and they have a lot of cover once they do.
Ooh, Nardu finds Tia. I was just about to call out these positions here from the Rough Riders. They must have done their homework and known that he was going to sit there or something. Because Nardu just was razor focused on that position.
Well, and at the same time, that position especially has become more of a pre-fire spot as well. So it is a little risky to play. And in this case, it ended up paying off for Witch Doctors right now.
It's one of those cheap pre-fires that you can just kind of get away with without having to expose yourself too much.
Yeah, exactly. And you're out 20 bullets. But in this case, now they're out 20 bullets and they got a kill.
Ooh,
2 down.
Nardu taking all these kills for himself here. Finds
One still
bait.
left side, left alley, left side.
Quick finds Traden and his usual spot over there on the dumpster. Oh, Quick running out with his tablet. Oh, barely makes it into the room, and he's capping. Is he going to get taken out? Oh, he pulls the gun out. Soju does find him. Whew, that was really close for Rough Riders, but Virus takes out Hold My Fries. Soju now all alone to defend this objective against 4 members of Rough Riders and, I'm sorry, Witch Doctors, and Witch Doctors will take up round 5. Wow, that was some violent speed and momentum.
Yeah, and that just seemed to flip-flop. I mean, we started out with, Witch Doctors taking 1 or 2 out, and then all of a sudden, though, they had 2 members that were downed, confirmed, and then just everything fell apart right there. So, I mean, Witch Doctors really went in and moved in hard and attacked and got some strong kills.
They sure did. I mean, I'm really impressed with that attack from Witch Doctors. This is not looking good for Rough Riders.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, this is a great objective to be attacking. Like you said, it seems to be a little bit more Marsoc favorable. And the next objective, they get to defend. But at the same time, there's only 1 objective left to defend, and that's going to be mid-Marsoc, and that is one of the hardest ones to defend. So Rough Riders, I mean, they have good chance here, but it is still going to be a tough battle for them.
Without a doubt, man. I'm nervous for Rough Riders. I'm not trying to show any bias or anything. I have no horse in this race, but Rough Riders are having a rough time against Witch Doctors, and I would like to see this go into a map 3 series decider, but we don't always get what we want in life, and so far it is not looking good for Rough Riders. Hopefully they can pick it up here on Marsoc on round 6 and get a cap maybe. I mean, anything's possible, but they really do need a cap more than anything.
Yeah, well, still at the same time, I mean, there is a lot of game left. So, I mean, the match hasn't been decided yet. Rough Riders are only down by 1. Sure, they're down a map, but this map still hasn't been decided. So they have a very strong chance. This is a great objective to attack. Let's see if they can capitalize on it. That's really what it's going to come down to.
This is stressful.
As Virus just said, this is stressful, and I'm telling you guys, there's nothing that gets your heart racing more than a good Onward match in the VRML.
Oh man, it's true. And it can be pretty athletic sometimes, especially when you're trying to throw smokes and nades and you need to place it just right. It's really interesting, and I love how Onward has gotten their physics, especially with smokes and nades. It feels really good when you throw them, and it does take skill to be able to place it correctly. It's really fun to try to get those smokes and nades right.
It does. It's taken me like an entire season to really get good at throwing nades to the point where Viper just asks me to drop an orbital strike and I do it.
So he doesn't even need the kill streak anymore to do it. He can do it all on his own.
Yeah, he just calls me up and asks for a little airstrike, and I happily deliver.
Yep. So it looks like right now we do have 3 pushing over though to the east side. Are they going to be able to get some picks off initially? Are they going to just go for the smoke and cross? This is going to be interesting to see how they handle it. They don't really have, like, they have 3 people at this approach, but they don't really have anyone defending Rough Riders' approach right now.
I like how Witch Doctors have this tighter defense, and I liked that one member in Kiat who just found Soju. C-Quick gets a nice shot on him. Tia trying to find the refrag. Things are getting spicy. Virus finding some Marsoc people over here on the west side. They're all trying to pierce through that mini market on the west side, which has lately been a really strong push. That southwest push, it can be unstoppable if done right. Quick does, however, find the shot on Hold My Prize and trade in. Man, they are just slicing through this offensive push like a hot knife through butter.
Well, that was the tough part. They did have a lot of good smokes in the actual like mini bazaar area, but on that road they did not cover it well enough, but ran out anyway. And that was really the mistake. It's like sometimes if we don't have the best smokes, even though we just literally spent probably about 7-8 points to make this play happen, it didn't work. It would be almost better to draw back, reevaluate, and push back in from a different angle, because that was not a good push to make right there.
Yeah, this is not looking good for Rough Riders here on the last round that matters the most.
C-Quick, though, is pushing in nice and quiet. Tiagra might be able to get him. If he just peeks into the window enough, C-Quick has no idea where Tiagra is.
Can't get to C-Quick in time. Oh, yes, I did make it in time. Tia and C-Quick are so close to each other.
I'm wondering, yeah, C-Quick probably just heard him. But Tiagra capitalizes on it. Tough part, though, Tiagra now has their position revealed. The gunfire has been heard. And they have one of the 2 left position known, so... Bake, though, also is in a very good position going into the blue room right next to objective.
Tia using a good distractionary smoke. Witch Doctors don't realize Bake is right there. They're more focused on Tia's direction, although fortunately Bake and Tia are kind of lining up into the same cross, or the same angle for someone to watch. Oh, is Bake gonna find the head of Nardu here? Nope, not quite, but Bake is ready for it. Oh, quick firefight between those two come out. Nardu does find the head of Bake, and now it's just coming down to Tia.
Okay, so yeah, we'll see what ends up happening here. There's only 1 left and plenty of time for Witch Doctors to sit pretty.
Got about 90 seconds left, and I think they just heard Tia. Fortunately, his mic picked up his breathing. So they are well aware that Tia is in the blue room still.
Yeah, and they're all crashed pretty well around objective. There's not really any angle unturned. Virus is watching the backside. Tiagra is going to be going for the prone to try to approach. But, yeah, overall.
Oh, Tia does find the shot. Ooh. Just 1 minute left. Tia has been managing to do a lot of good things. He's often, in this series, the last man up for Rough Riders. Although, to be fair, he usually has a shield, which helps. But, but Tia definitely doing work here.
Tia's also taken the most bullets this map. So,
yeah, statistically speaking, he has.
So, but good job on that part. 27 seconds left, though. That is not a lot of time to really capitalize on anything.
Still 3 members left, and Nardu, I think, is going to be ready for Tia.
If not, Virus definitely will be. But
Yeah.
Nardu gets the kill, and that is game, set, and match, basically, as Witch Doctors win the map and the game. But we are going to be going into map 3.
Yeah, you know, it was heavily favored that Rough Riders were going to come out on top, and I honestly thought that this would have been a bit of a closer matchup, but I think it was a huge tactical mistake on Rough Riders' part to choose Downfall on map 1 when they clearly didn't seem to have a solid game plan, or it looked like they were just out of practice and really out of sync on Downfall, which just makes me question why. Why would they do that to themselves? Not only did they do Downfall as a map 1 pick, and then they also didn't ban a map. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and here's the thing too, though. Right now, they Rough Riders picked their weakest map to also be casted. So now they're going to be able to go back and see, hey, this is our worst map. This is what we did wrong. This is how we can adjust for future games. And so, yes, they didn't make a ban. They picked their weakest map intentionally, but now they have the gameplay to go back and be able to make the proper adjustments for the future. So, yes, it's a risk. Yes, it might have cost them the game, but now they have a lot of information to go back and review.
That's true. But, you know, I wonder if that element that I mentioned at the top of being undefeated has maybe gotten into their heads a bit, you know? And like I said, like it can really affect your mental game going into this and put a lot of unnecessary pressure on failure, which in and of itself is a huge issue in this game. Onward is not only is it physically demanding, you have to physically aim at your enemies. You can't just point and click, but you also have to think through your actions because the time to kill is so short.
Yeah, it really is, especially when you're trying to debate on, do you just call it out? Do you shoot and give away your position? What do you do after? Do you rotate? I mean, there's just a lot of split-second decisions. And, I mean, there are people who have put in, 1,400 hours, 1,500 hours, and they still have that hard time making those split-second decisions because it can determine life or death. And so it takes a lot of skill to get into this, but, I mean, it's such a fun game for that reason, too.
Absolutely. Like, that's one of the best elements of this game is watching people... I don't want to say panic, but make mistakes because they're clearly not thinking and they're just rushing. Their only objective is like, oh, I'm running out of time and I need to get to the objective, for example. And then that's when all those hosts of mistakes come out, like we saw in Downfall between these two teams. Both teams were having a bit of a time with a pacing issue on Downfall, which end result was a lot of picks by the Volk teams on crosses that normally wouldn't happen.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. And I mean, in this case, Witch Doctors capitalized it on a little bit better and managed to really dominate on these maps. So good job on them. And now we are going into Cargo, which is going to be a blast to see as well as we get started in map 3 with guns ablazing. 3 people like that are taken out instantly.
Between the animation and everything, like they were already dead by the time the animation played. But yeah, it is now 3 versus 5. Sorry guys if you missed that. The animation, blame the animation.
Well, I mean, I almost can't blame the animation. That was 10 seconds into the round and 3 people were downed.
Yeah.
So
blame Mono, everyone. It's all Monarchid's fault.
Yeah, I could do that.
Everything is his fault.
Hold my fries, though, in a cheeky position, might be able to get a good little pick out, but he has to worry about Nardu, who is hiding behind the barrels. Again, though, that is a pretty common spot that he can keep in mind, but he's throwing a nade just off.
That nade bounced off the backboard just perfectly. Makes me question, though, why Hold My Fries went to the effort of throwing a grenade, but didn't do the barrels, which is, like you said, very common. I guess Hold My Fries is going to try and just shoot him instead. Oh no, Hold My Fries is in a really bad predicament now.
He's just going to have to sit in that corner and think about what he's done.
Exactly. He's going to have to try and bait Nardu to... Oh, he does have a smoke. That's going to help. Nardu's going to have to reload in just a second here anyways.
but almost a really good nade on Virus from Bait.
Oh, well played by Hold My Fries. He catches Nardu with his pants down while he's reloading. Oh, but he does get caught in the middle. There's a C4 that goes off just to be sure. Oh, there's so much happening. Bake is still here all alone. Virus tries to find him. He does, and that's it for round 1. Witch Doctors pick up the point there.
I mean, what? How many? We saw, I mean, 2 revives was all, but it felt like a lot more than that. But, I mean, just that was some very quick play. We subsided in the fire, and then instantly it just went crazy again. And in this case, Witch Doctors, you know, really handled that fire well. We're able to get some really strong picks. And, I mean, that revive at the end on Rough Rider's side, I mean, Virus was able to capitalize on that, get the final 2 kills, and secure that first point.
Well done by Witch Doctors. I mean, they are just playing so well this season. I mean, hats off to them. They've really come around since season 9, and I'm really excited to see what this team can do.
I am too, and especially, I mean, Witch Doctors, though, we have seen, I mean, just like when we saw Bazaar, they were very strong at the very beginning, but then it seemed like as Rough Rider started figuring out how they were playing, they were able to adjust and then come back and win the map. I'm curious to see if that's going to be the same fate on Cargo as well. So is Witch Doctors going to be able to keep that momentum, keep attacking strong, and ultimately win the map? Or are are Witch Doctors... I'm jumbled. Are Witch Doctors going to be able to ultimately take this as well? And from that first round, it looks like they just might.
Yeah. I promised Control I would not make predictions, so I will hold my tongue. I will let you do all the predictions, good sir.
I made no promises to her, and she has not messaged me yet, so I must be doing something mostly right.
We found a loophole, people. Predictions still will happen.
I mean, as long as you're not Buxton, I think that's the biggest problem is if Buxton makes a predicament or a prediction, you're in trouble.
Well said. Although I do miss Buxton. I miss that silky smooth voice coming out of that guy.
Yep. Probably moved on to commentating golf because that's what I really saw him doing instead of commentating Onward.
You know, I got golf vibes too. Oh, Hold My Fries downs himself with his own C4, and Double Samples confirmed that. Yikes, I don't know what happened there. He probably tried to throw a C4 and it got stuck on the door frame. It happens to me all the time. Virus is making some good... Well, never mind. Virus goes down to Traden. Nardu finds Traden on the left.
Oh, but
Witch
they can
Doctors
cap right
are
here.
already capping. Soju's not going to have enough time to kill him.
Oh! And they get the cap.
So close.
Man, I mean, at that point, run around the corner and just get killed.
Yeah, no
I'm
kidding.
wondering if they hit the mic enough to where they knew that they were capping, or that just in the hype of the moment, he came around the corner, saw the person, and just shot anyway, like just out of instinct.
Was that a 90-second round just now?
Yeah, that was. I mean, but on Cargo, it's possible.
That's very true.
So, I mean, yeah, Cargo especially, and then maybe Suburbia. But other than that, yeah, you are going to see longer rounds.
Wowzers. I thought this was going to be so much closer between these two teams. I am just blown away that Witch Doctors are running away with this to such a large degree.
Well, and they were doing a really good job because you saw Virus right there. He was moving through the middle of the map, and he was checking all of the common hiding spots. He checked mid, then he checked over behind the crate, then he checked barrels, then he checked on the other side in the dark room, and just was able to also pre-fire it with the drum mag and get some very strong kills.
It's very true. Man, I can't wait to see what these guys pull off in round 3.
Yep.
I mean, when I say that, I mean the Rough Riders, because Witch Doctors are obviously killing it. So hopefully Rough Riders can bring it back and minimize this damage to their MMR, because they were undefeated until today. And the last thing you want to do is give them like a huge amount of points on top of that.
Yeah.
Because that'll really get Witch Doctors up there on the leaderboards. based on how these two teams end in terms of score. It's Friday. I'm jumbling my words too. I'm sorry, guys.
Well, and here's the interesting part so far too. Neither of these teams so far have quite gone against a more veteran team. I'm looking at Witch Doctors right now. They've gone against Fury, which is a little bit more veteran, but they haven't gone quite against a top 10 team. That's something I'm excited to see, and possibly next week we might be able to.
This round is starting off with a bang here. Lots of pre-fire coming out between these two teams. Soju finds Virus and Trade and confirms him.
But they do get a revive, but immediately they get another one down. But they are pushing in together, and they are moving in, just blowing bullets.
Wow, it is absolute chaos out there. Devil Sam picks off Bake. Man, it was too much to dictate, to cast, to say.
Yeah.
The kill feed was off the hook. All right, now one member of Marsoc made it over there by the tunnel exit. I don't think Cook will be ready for this. He's not. Hold My Fries takes him out. Now he is trying to rotate towards that crack and find Devil Sam. Doesn't pull it off quite as smoothly as he would have liked, but he does stay alive. That's good. Hold My Fries.
So close.
Hold My Fries nearly takes out the last remaining defender from Witch Doctors. Rough Riders really brought the heat on this round 3 here, and it makes me wonder what stopped them for the first 2 rounds. Oh no, Soju downs Hold My Fries.
But it's only a down, it's not an out. But you saw, I mean,
Soju get that revive. What are you doing?
He doesn't know. And his teammate, I don't know if he's calling out. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh my goodness, this is so crazy to watch this. Just turn around and revive him, Soju. You're killing me. I'm having a heart attack on behalf of this team here.
No, have a heart attack on Monday, not Friday. That's something you don't want to do.
That's true. Much better to die at the start of the work week than right when all the fun begins.
But Devil moved into a really good position after that firefight. I mean, that's strong. It is penetrable, though, but he's going to be able to see people cross.
Hold My Fries almost botched that grenade and blew himself up. Not quite the way I would have expected that to end. Devil Sam with that pick. Oh, and the Soju with the refrag earns Rough Riders their first point on Cargo.
I mean, that was close. Soju zeroed in. He heard someone behind him, and a lot of the times on Cargo, when you do get that kind of advantage where you lose a lot of people, you'll start to have the enemy flanking around you, and that's what he probably thought he was hearing. And so he zeroed in on his own teammate and on accident shot him. But it was a down and not out.
Yeah, I was about to say, luckily he potatoed it and only downed his teammate and didn't flat out murder him. And this is, again, why tablet awareness is so important on maps like Cargo, because you don't want that. You don't want to shoot your own teammate ever, especially on a match like this where every point is really going to matter here.
But man, there was a ton of fire. So again, just like you said, it comes down to checking that tablet, because there were 1,000 rounds fired in about 2 minutes. How do you even know how many people are left on either side? There is no way to get an accurate kill count, but you can at least get an accurate who's up left on my team count.
Oh man, what a match between these guys.
Man, it's been entertaining to watch for sure. I've enjoyed it so far.
Yes, I have too. The scoreline really doesn't do it justice. This was much closer on some of these rounds than you would ever think based off of the scores right now on the screen. But
yeah,
it's been a great fight between these two teams, just duking it out. And Rough Riders getting their first point here on Cargo is huge for the morale, no doubt.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely, and completely agree. And here's the cool part though, is that we are seeing these two teams play, and they're playing at a high level. You know, they're still moderately new to the league, but they're playing extremely competitive, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do for the rest of the season as well, because right now, it's impressive. I mean, look at that. Their smokes are on point so far, and their pre-firing is good. They've moved together as a team. All around, I'm impressed.
A lot of members just pushing right up the middle here. I don't know if Rough Riders are going to be ready for this offensive push by Witch Doctors. Oh, they are, though. They are just dropping like flies. I can't even rate it off. It's too much to read. But Nardu is capping. He's on objective, and Rough Riders are just not ready for this. Oh, again. Yeah, hate to see it, chat. 2 times in a row now that Witch Doctors go to cap. They kill their last remaining defender. And my goodness, I know from firsthand experience how frustrating that can be.
Well, and you got to think, it takes about 10 seconds for you to actually cap. 10 to 12, depending on your skill level. Sometimes 7. But, I mean, he's on objective. He was at about the 7-second mark of being on objective. He was so close to capping that. And just, again, shut down. They're still up 3-1. That would have been a map win.
Maybe 10 to 12 seconds in bronze tier, but I seen some pretty quick caps in my day. I mean, there's some people that can just run up on and cap within 5 seconds. And I think Witch Doctors is definitely capable of doing that. They've definitely been slower today on their caps. I've watched a couple of their other games, and they are usually faster cappers than this. But it really comes down to who is in the opportune position to even cap, and not everyone can be a great capper.
Yeah, no, completely agree. And that's the tough part. A lot of people, though, somehow, I don't know how they do it, they memorize the code at the beginning of the round, hold it in their minds through all the fire and madness, run up to objective, and can remember it and type it in 4 seconds. That's impressive.
I agree. I'm just listening to Rough Riders talk. Traden's like, we're actually really good, guys. We just don't want to crush them too hard. Traden right off the bat finds Fume, but I don't think they'll be ready for these 2 defenders pushing through tunnel. They're not. Devil Sam finds the back of Soju, and Devil Sam finds Traden. Nardu finds Bake, Hold My Fries, and Tiara, the only 2 remaining. Devil finds Hold My Fries, and Hold My Fries is dead. And just like that, Witch Doctors take map 3 in a sweeping victory, 4-1.
Well, at that point, you saw how many smokes there were. With all that fire, they probably couldn't even hear the enemy shots coming from behind them, just with how much smoke they were in. So good job on Witch Doctors, and an outstanding performance on them, going 4-1 on the final map, and just complete dominance all around in this match.
Couldn't agree more. I thought this would be a much closer lineup today, but Witch Doctors showing their authority on the leaderboards here. They'll be gaining quite a nice amount of MMR, even though, you know, the Rough Riders are a newer team. It definitely helps with that score line. I mean, we're currently 12-4 right now, and that's a massive MMR jump for a team that's just climbing the leaderboard. Sorry. And I mean, Rough Riders being a new team, they need every victory, but they're undefeated until now. They can afford 1 loss and everything like that. So they'll be just fine.
Yeah, and at the same time, you can reevaluate, you can reset, you can figure out where you were weak on, make those adjustments. Now we have 1.8 coming out. You have 3 weeks off to adjust to everything that is coming out, and it is a game changer with what is coming out. So now you have 3 weeks to reevaluate yourself as a team, get used to the new meta, and come back guns blazing for more victories and more matches. And I am really excited to see what Rough Riders are going to do through this season. They are a team to watch, that is for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. For those of you wondering at home, yes, the quest does come out in 6 days. Next week, Friday, July 30th, you can install Onward on your Quest and play cross-play with PC players, so you'll never find an empty lobby again, PC users.
Your Monday nights will no longer be so lonely.
Yes.
You will have Quest players to play with.
Wow. Well, what a great matchup between these 2 teams. Any last words before I send her off?
I mean, all around great play. I am thinking I am going to need to ban Cargo against Witch Doctors. That is for sure.
Same. Yeah.
All around aggressive.
The Witch Doctors are looking really scary. I cannot wait to play them this season. And like you pointed out, there will be a 3-week hiatus while we figure out the bugs with the Quest version and get it get it to the point where it is competitive for League. So please, you know, if you find bugs, report them in the Discord, because the devs listen to everything that is posted. So that'll be great, and I can't wait to see how these teams bounce back after that hiatus is over with. That said, that'll do it. Stick around. We are going to raid OML 2 because they currently are casting a game, Pandemonium versus Riot. So stick around, folks. Don't go anywhere. I will close us out, but stay tuned. And thank you so much for joining us. Silent, thank you for joining me today. I mean, this is a fun first cast for you. For me.
Oh, it was a blast.
With you.
All around. It was all around beautiful, and I loved it. And I will see you guys all. Enjoy your weekends. And this is Wookie and Silent Knight signing off. Have a good one, guys.